How's it going, everybody? I am Donut. This is, of course, a Black Lives Matter, all cops are bastards, and trans rights supporting channel. If you're not supporting that shit, get the fuck off the channel. This is Iron Fist Season 1, Episode 10, Black Tiger Steals Heart, which has me very worried that Black Tiger is Bakuto, and that we're going to do the thing that I had said originally a couple episodes ago. Bakuto was first introduced, that I was hoping we weren't going to do some sort of love cornering, not so much a love triangle. You cannot have a love triangle unless one of the characters are queer in some way, and otherwise it's just a love cornering, two people cornering one person. There's no arrow going this way. But yeah, so I have been really appreciative that the series has not done that. That Bakuto has so far been very, it seems, talking to Colleen, like saying, it seems like you like this Iron Fist guy, and, I'm totally fine with that. And, like, their relationship was way more of a sensei thing. But Black Tiger Steals Heart really makes me think that it's going to be some sort of relationship love cornering sort of situation going on. And I really hope not. But there's also the thing of Bakuto and Danny look very similar, and, Colleen clearly has a type, and it's not like Colleen doesn't like Bakuto. It's very clearly that she has something for him, but that was way in the past, but now that they're all in one place together, it's gonna be a lot of that, but I hope at the very least it is just tension and doesn't go anything past tension. Let's just, at the very least, leave it at that, and I hope that Danny and Colleen's relationship can actually stick. Let's hope, and let's get into it. If you want to see the full length, check it out on the Patreon below for $4 a month. If you want to see the normal reaction, check it out in the description. We're here talking about Iron Fist Season 1, Episode 10, Black Tiger Steals Heart. Before that, however, it is April. It is Autism Awareness Month. I am autistic. My birthday is in April as well, so I want to talk about this very, very briefly. If you skip this, go fuck yourself. So, I just want to get out some brief talking points. It is Autism Awareness Month. We don't need awareness anymore. That has been it's done. We got it. We got the awareness. We need normalization now. But so, it's called Autism Awareness Month. It's hard to get away from that. But still, that's not really what we're looking for. Pay attention to actual autistic people. Do not donate to, charities that are for autistic people or whatever. Donate to just actually autistic people instead of these charities that a lot of times are doing a lot of harm rather than a lot of good for us. So, just listen to actually autistic people speaking about the problems rather than non-autistic people speaking about the problems. It is not autism is not about parents. That is a huge thing that's always around with Autism Awareness Month. It ain't about the parents, it's about the goddamn autistic people, and it's not just autistic children, there's autistic adults. Self-diagnosis is 100% valid. Do not, think that you are not valid for self-diagnosing. Try and, if you think that you might be, it's better to check it out and know than not know. It is, you might not have health care, you might not be able to have the privilege to get to get an actual doctor's diagnosis. And, it's not like they're going to, stick you with something like, yep, definitely autistic. It's a checklist, it always is. So, I just wanted to get those brief talking points out of the way at the beginning of April, just because, boy, I'm tired of having to deal with this shit, and we talked about autism a lot with, like, Danny and stuff and Iron Fist and everything. But, yeah, so just, also, identity first before, it is not person with autism, it is autistic person, or they are autistic. Some people prefer person with autism, but it is always better to go identity first rather than forcing someone to, you are putting them in this category where they are a person, but they have autism, rather than, right, I am an autistic person. So, yeah, just, again, listen to autistic people, give money to actually autistic people rather than charities. For the love of God, stop listening to non-autistic people about autistic problems. Alright, now, let's jump into Black Tiger Steals Heart.
Alright.
Which, not exactly what I, thought it was going to be, but still very relevant to the Black Tiger being Bakuto, who is stealing away Danny's, like, goodness. Like, he is, furthering the distrust in him.
Yeah.
Like, that was a lot about what this episode was about, like, removing the last people that he can trust.
Mm-hmm.
So, Yeah, I think this is probably one of the most. We're getting to the titles that are finally like extremely relevant now. Whereas at the beginning they were a lot looser, but now they're pretty relevant. Yeah, so
yeah, and I am really happy that this one was not the extremely obvious like, oh, he's gonna steal Colleen, like, in a romantic sense.
Yeah,
it is stealing Colleen, but in a different way.
Yeah, in a much different way.
Yeah,
I'm very glad we didn't go down that route. And the problems that Danny and Colleen have with the relationship is entirely a Danny problem. It's not a Colleen. Colleen clearly at the end of this episode here still believes in Danny and likes Danny and all that, and is she fully understands just how brainwashed he is with all this stuff. At the same time, Bakuto has made it very clear they're not very good.
Yeah.
So, from both sides, you can understand it. Like, Danny is going far more aggro and far more, just burning of bridges than he should be for the circumstance. But also, it's not like he should be totally, open-minded to this, to them being the hand, because it's like, what are they doing?
Right. It's
So where do we even begin to talk about that? I feel like we just got to talk about that whole reveal and the Bakuto stuff and everything before any real going through the episode linearly like we usually do.
Because it's a big reveal.
Yeah. So I'll throw out my theory first in terms of the timeline of events, maybe.
Okay.
So I think that Bakuto was a genuine. He genuinely wanted to do everything that he said before. Taking down the corporations, taking down the people like Gao, all that sort of stuff. And then it was seeing the video of the Iron Fist that led him away from that path. Not necessarily that he, maybe he's still doing that sort of stuff, but or planning to or whatever, but it seems like seeing the Iron Fist has awoken he used to be a person where he never used anybody, but so I think that when he said that, he was remembering his old self.
Okay.
He was justifying it to himself, oh, I don't use people. I don't use people at all. But he's thinking about his old self and not really thinking about how far gone he is now. And so I think that that is it. He got obsessed with the Iron Fist, saw it as, oh, I've been trying to do this stuff that is extremely complicated and requires so many intricate details and planning and all this stuff, whereas I could just have a guy with big fists that could just go in and punch them all. That is superheroes in general.
Right.
It is what if instead of me having to, figure out a plan and help, do all this small stuff, I could just have somebody go in and punch the big bad capitalist man.
Yeah, what if the systemic problem could be a really buff guy, and then I could beat up the buff guy, and in doing so, stop the systemic problem?
Yes, absolutely. Shout out to Brendan Lee Mulligan for, a lot of D&D actual play stuff has been a lot of, what is going on in Iron Fist here, of, what if you could just beat up capitalism, the Brendan Lee Mulligan coining the capital, you just got to break the capitalism orb is that is what Bakuto is. I think his mindset is coming from.
Okay.
Of everything was extremely hard, and then suddenly he found out about this person, this immortal weapon that he could use that would be able to just easily let him break the capitalism orb.
Right.
I think that's my theory. That he just that is what took him off track, and maybe there's some getting him back on track, but I don't know. I think he's the classic tragic. Went too far. It is what he's saying is right, but the way he's going about it is wrong.
Sure.
Which is, of course, the classic thing that most TV shows do when they have to have it. When they're like, well, we know the character's right. How do we not have them just immediately do that?
Yeah.
But this is the kind of show where I fully believe that Danny is going to go and say basically exactly that. Yes, everything Bakuto said, I do agree with, but his tactics are wrong, and this is how we should do it.
Yeah.
But Danny is also the kind of person who is not a planner, not a, he is the rush in and do everything. So, that's a part of his personality, too. Both those sides are going to come to head. I think he's going to understand that Bakuto's ways were wrong, but then he has to kind of understand that his own ways are wrong, because he kind of does that sort of stuff, too.
Right.
In much different ways, but yeah. Not so much that he does the same stuff, but that his tactics are not any better than Bakuto's.
Sure.
They're way different, but they're not any better in terms of successfully happening.
Yeah.
Danny stumbles a lot because he's too run in.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think is, going on? What do you think?
So, like, before I get to Bakuto, I do want to, like, sit on the reveal, because it does explain some stuff that I thought was originally just bad writing.
Okay.
The big one, of course, being when Colleen is training her pupils, and she specifically trains them to stalk someone on the street and then attack them.
Right.
Like, that is...
But, I mean, still, why did she?
Hmm?
Why did Colleen do that?
I mean, I think it's pretty clear at this point that her dojo is a, like, hand recruiting ground.
Okay.
Because that is also, like, my other thing was, why are we focusing so much on Daryl and this scholarship? And then we see where his scholarship led him, to this ground, where he's now being trained to be part of the hand. Like, it seems pretty clear, like, like, the reason, like, she is finding disadvantaged kids and training them, to, like, part of it is self-defense, part of it is, just, like, discipline, like most martial arts.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure that intro with her, teaching them to stalk someone on the street and attack them is, like that is, hand ninja shit.
Yeah. I the reason why I didn't even make that connection until now is because I didn't really connect the fact that they can't leave this place with the fact that Daryl was here, and I was really kind of thinking about Daryl just living here and going to the place where he got the scholarship. Not that he got, like... So he got a scholarship for this place? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like, we haven't been told that, but that is, like, it feels so clear to me now.
Yeah, I guess, like, I thought this place was more secret than that. Like, for as much as they don't let people leave and don't, keep it extremely, extremely secret, what does the scholarship say? And, like, how people would look into that?
I mean, like, we also have the moment where Colleen is, saying, hey, you got the scholarship, and then she leans in and says, you're a part of something bigger now. Which I think now clearly means, you are a part of the hands.
Yeah, okay. That definitely is, yeah.
Yeah, and, like, the fact that this place is, like, a campus, like, I definitely, I imagine also, because he is very disadvantaged, he's not the kind of person who would say, hey, this is really sus, please look into this.
The scholarship thing might have just been a thing she was saying in front of the class then.
Yeah. I think it is more of a, and also the whole, like, don't go to the fighting ring because I want to be able to make a good case for you to get the scholarship. Like, yeah, I think, to me it is very clear now that was the, I am scouting my best students to join the hands. And once you do that, you get to live on this campus, you have meals there, you don't have to leave, you'll be trained really well. Like, it is a better life for him.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying it as a, like, military recruiter thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It is interesting that Colleen was doing all that. Like, yeah, because that really recontextualizes everything in this episode. Like, I'm not sure why she did everything she did in this episode then, if she was recruiting for them the whole time. Because I thought that she was the one person who was able, like, Bakuto had a special connection with her and gave her, like, an exemption to leave. But no, it does not seem to be what it is.
Yeah.
So I guess we are just going for she just really likes Danny more so than she doesn't believe in, this place.
Yeah. Like, especially with her whole, like, like, these people are my family, this is something I wanted to tell you.
Yeah.
But, I couldn't tell you because you would have taken it the wrong way.
Yeah. But, I mean, at the end of the episode, it really felt like she was willing to burn her bridges with them more so than, with Danny.
Yeah.
Which is very, very surprising, for, now that is recontextualized.
Yeah.
I don't know how to think about that now. It's very interesting.
Same. Like, whatever they're doing with her is way more complicated than I gave them credit for, and I am really interested in it.
I mean, there's still all the stuff going on with her father and everything like that, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Was there other stuff that got recontextualized that you wanted to bring up?
I thought there was something else I was thinking of.
But you can't think of anything right now.
Yeah. The main thing was just sort of, like, Colleen in general as a character. Like, once it clicked to me, like, oh, Daryl is here because this is where his scholarship was, because, and that explains, him, her talking to him about that. Like, it changed the way I saw her fundamentally, because then it is the, like, okay, she's not just completely on her own running this, dodgy little dojo in the middle of Chinatown. Like, she is there, for a reason more connected to the hands than I gave them credit for initially.
Yeah, fair. I definitely
Yeah, because then like also going through the series, I mean, I haven't like rewatched the episodes, but now I'm curious to see like, can you tell anything else by how she dealt with the hand stuff Danny dragged her into?
Yeah, like it's interesting that she is very wanting to. I want to go to. I want to go to. I want to go to. Constantly whenever they're doing something like this. But yeah, she like. It's not that weird because we know, that they don't like that side of the hand.
Yeah.
But it is weird that she would be willing to let herself be seen.
Yeah.
And just, like, for as much as she's like, oh, Danny, every time I bring up the hand, you want to go fight them, so does she. Like, every time they bring up the hand, she is like you don't know the hand, they're extremely dangerous, you can't just go fight them. Right. But then once Danny is like, well, I'm going to anyway, then she's like, well, hell yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Like, it's never really like a, like, she seemed to be ashamed of wanting to fight the hand before.
Yeah.
Like, there was the whole, like, Danny having to talk to her and tell her, like, it's fine that you want to do this. They're, it's fine.
Yeah. Like, I can see that now as maybe being a, she has some sort of kinship with them. Like, even if they're the bad hand, they still have traditions. And this was her going, like, Danny was, basically telling her in her mind, even though you may feel some kinship with them, they are fundamentally, the bad hands, and you should be fighting them.
Yeah.
Like, there's more complexity there than I think I can, like, adequately discuss at this moment. I just wanted to, like, tap into that and, like, bring that up.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know what I can say about that, really. It's very... Colleen is a fascinating case.
The other thing is
And like even with the teaching the kids in episode 1, all the ham stuff, like, why did she teach them that stuff and then get annoyed that Daryl might be using that in real life? Like, not just in, like, or why would the fighting cages like matter to Bakuto?
You do raise good points.
Like, why would he care?
Yeah, like, why would the hands care if one of their ninja, has a prior history of being in fighting rings?
Yeah. Like, yeah, I'm not really clear on that. And, like, why would she be teaching them this stuff when she seems to be very against that sort of thing? Yeah, very unclear.
Yeah. Like, that scene now sticks to me in my head as okay, when I'm done watching season 1, I can go back and watch that, and it becomes more clear, like, oh, that's why they're, more aggressive, that's why this isn't self-defense.
Yeah, because it's not even like here's how you would fight the bad hand, it's here's how you would fight a normal citizen.
Yeah. Or,
like, not even how you would fight, but how you would steal from a normal citizen.
Yeah, and, like, here's how you conceal your presence. Or, it wasn't here's how, but, you guys need to try and conceal your presence while I'm walking.
Yeah. All that is very interesting. Yeah, I mean, like, now, clearly that is all hand stuff, but I'm curious as to why.
The other thing is, I don't trust Bakuto's, like, I don't trust Bakuto's statement of, the hand is good, and Gao's hand is, like, a small bad minority. Because...
Did he say that?
What he said was, like, like, he was phrasing it as, like, we are the hands, and Gao is, like he was phrasing it as like, Gao is not the bigger hand.
Let me...
Yeah, this is a really important thing, so I don't want to mess it up.
Okay, yeah, so you're right.
I was wrong about Bakuto. It's not him.
Yeah, but it is Colleen.
Yeah, Colleen says that...
Colleen never talks about... Bakuto never talks about the hand in terms of, like, we are the hand. Like, he never even outright says that at all at any point during this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very clear, but, like, he doesn't give any personal opinion on, like, the Gao's hand is like this and this, blah, blah, blah. The only thing we know about him is just that, like, he is taking over Gao's shit and wants all Gao's shit, like, with the Herald stuff. That's really the only thing we know. But yeah, Colleen does say that she is part of a rogue faction of the Hand that deals drugs and destroys lives, which is, like, we know is bullshit. Like, that is certifiably, from what we've seen, 100% false. Because Gaos are almost all Chinese, if not all Chinese. I don't think we've seen any person in Gao's faction of the Hand that isn't Chinese. Other than the military.
Yeah.
Because we didn't see them.
That's still a question that's coming up.
Yeah.
Presumably.
Yeah. But we in Daredevil, we like Nobu's is all the they're not the Yakuza, but they were the faction of the Hand working with the Yakuza and everything like that,
Yeah.
they were all Japanese.
Yeah.
And so, and you know, that was not related to any of the drug-related stuff, of the dealing drugs and anything like that. So, I mean, like, if she's trying to say they are good, then this is even far more so.
Yeah.
Clearly, like, they are lying and trying to say, like, they're good when they are absolutely not.
Yeah, because that was what I wanted to bring up before. Like, the question of, if you say this, here's this organization, the organization is good, but there was this one faction that was, you know, dealing drugs, and there's also this other faction that was also bad, that was killing people and getting child soldiers and stuff. That's like, well, what part are you saying the whole thing is good? Because two of the big parts we saw were really, really bad, and it doesn't seem like the good part was doing anything to stop them.
And I should have seen this coming when they're talking about organizations being corrupted and everything like that,
Yeah.
and Bakudo being like the fucking anarcho-capitalist, where he's like the, you know, but you could still use, I mean, to be fair, I've been saying the same sort of thing because
Yeah.
I know it's a TV show and I know what they're gonna do, but to have a character outright, you know, do well, you can just use this corporation for good. I mean, Danny, you're marginalized too.
Oh, yeah.
and it's like, Danny being like, I'm a billionaire, and he's like, but don't you feel marginalized?
Oh, yeah.
And like, yeah, I now fully get the hypocrisy that they were trying to do there of him saying like you know, we need to take out all these gals, all these organizations that are so corrupt and everything like that. My own organization, though, that is very clearly corrupt, I'm going to defend extremely heavily. And you, the organization that I want to use, I'm also going to defend extremely heavily. So, yeah, I totally get what they're going for now with the hypocrisy of him.
Yeah.
It is also so much more interesting in retrospect where, like, somehow he knows more about the Iron Fist's techniques than Danny does, who was training to get them. Like, how does Bakudo know about this?
Yeah.
That's actually a serious question we need to ask ourselves. Like, did he torture somebody to get this information? Or, because, like, this is some top secret information. The fact that he is just, like, an otaku for the Iron Fist is very concerning how he knows this now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it definitely seems suspicious.
Yeah. Plus, I'm curious to see more of, like, the origins of, like, how the Hand came to be. Like, we have Stick's story, yeah? But,
also, do you think Kunlun used to be the Hand?
I feel like the Hand definitely stems from Kunlun. The Kunlun may be the Hand, because like this episode also really hammered home the like, hey, we have techniques that you've seen before, but you haven't seen them in this pattern. And if you do it like this, then you can restore your chi, and also you'll feel right at home here. This whole place is modeled after, you know, the way you grew up.
Yeah.
Like, if they're not one and the same, then it has to be either like, you know, the Hand were founded by people from Kunlun or something really, really close. I mean, we also had Gao talking about the tree and all that.
Yeah. Oh man, I was thinking about now. We have like, we have Chinatown, and then we have Chinatown, and we have Kunlun, and we have Kunlun Town in Chinatown. Like, I was just thinking of Davos showing up and being like, that, man, why does this look so much like Kunlun? But yeah, I what else is there to say about the Bakudo stuff? I feel like I want to capture all this before we move on to other stuff in the show.
Like, I definitely get your read, and there's nothing I think of that is like, there's nothing I can think of that's really like contradicting your read of his like character arc and all that. Like, I think he's definitely the big Iron Fist otaku who, you know, maybe a bit misled.
Yeah.
But I just think there's also, you know, like, there's more hypocrisy there, and I don't believe the idea that the Hand overall is, you know, good in the way that Colleen believes that they are.
And I think that's essential to note that Colleen is the one who said that, not Bakudo. We have not heard what Bakudo's. Bakudo might just say like, yeah, the Hand is bad, and I'm in a bad organization, and I'm going to use them.
Yeah.
Like. And I was just lying to you about not using people. Like, they could spin it in many different ways. I'm not sure if I would like that, but
yeah,
the fact that we haven't heard what his opinion is.
Yeah. The reason why that emotionally hit me so badly was the idea of it being like if Colleen had said we are a tiny spin-off of the Hand and we want to fight the Hand or something, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense to me. It was specifically the fact that she was like, no, the Hand is good, it's just Gao that's bad.
Yeah.
That's a real like, what? That thing contradicts everything we know.
Yeah. And like it is like of course I don't trust Stick's like whole spiel about how the Hand started and all that sort of stuff. But that doesn't mean that the stuff I've seen with my own eyes I don't believe.
Yeah.
Like I've seen them. And yeah, it's not like we're saying this about a group of people. It's an organization. It's a job they chose to have, not like, a race or a, whatever. Like, it is so much more, they're trying to use that excuse, but it doesn't track when it's an organization. And, like, the only excuses you could make are for the children.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they have child soldiers, and those, like, I've said that multiple times throughout Iron Fist, of, like, when we're, fighting them, it's like I sure hope this one's not a child.
Yeah.
And, like, that's the issue there, but not they're good.
Also, I fundamentally don't trust any organization that is doing bad things where, like, we know they have immortality as well.
Yeah.
Because that's a real, like, you cannot tell me that all the bad Hand members, back in the day are dead, and now Bakuto's the good guy is going to reform it, because we know they have immortality.
Yeah,
like,
and
it's like, if Bakuto is not a bad guy, he could still just be a stooge put in there for a while, and then big, evil, immortal man's gonna come back.
Yeah.
Like, fundamentally, I can't trust the organization. Like, you can't call yourself the Hand.
Yeah, I mean, especially after everything we just said for Harold, which seems kind of bullshit of, like, you can't kill him, which may be kind of believable. Like, there's things you could do, but how feasible are they?
Right.
Like, there's some stuff that would work. Encase him in concrete, that would probably work.
Yeah.
But even stuff like, I said, put cinder blocks on his feet, drop him in the bottom of the lake, eventually he'll probably get out of it.
Yeah. We still don't know whether cutting off the head is the absolute kill. Like, when Stick kills Nobu, like, it is implied, like, that's gonna actually work.
Yeah. But, like, that's also everybody else was kind of, I mean, not really because they took Elektra's body, but, like, I wonder if they just put the head back, like, obviously they can't regenerate.
Right.
But if you put the head back on the body, I think that is the thing. If you destroyed the body, but the fact that the Hatchetman said, like, you can't kill them is interesting.
Yeah. Like, because this is also, like, the Hatchetmen were talking about this old story, so even that's a little suspect. Like, what, was that guy invincible because this took place, like, hundreds of years ago, and they didn't have something that was strong enough to, blow him up? Or... Okay.
Harold regrew his finger.
Wait, what?
Harold regrew his finger. He's got both fingers. He's got both pinkies.
God damn.
I just wanted to check. Yeah, at the scene where he's at the dinner table, you can see both his hands on the table. He's got all 10 fingies. So I never even registered that when he revived himself last episode.
Oh, we probably got a shot of his hands at some point.
Yeah,
because like
I mean we definitely got when he first brings out the knife and everything. But no, he was still like wrapped up with the stuff there. I don't know when he took that off, but yeah. So he definitely regenerates.
Yeah,
like fully regenerates. The stab wounds probably regenerated. It's interesting that he didn't regenerate when he came back, but then regenerated. Did he go in the tank and then regenerated?
Maybe. Because I also imagine, like, if the revival stuff is going to target one thing, it's probably going to heal up all the, the vital, like, you are dead parts of his body.
Yeah. And
then, like, work on something like a finger last, because, that's so not necessary.
Yeah. Man, like, the fact that they showed the tank again this episode makes me think that that's what they were trying to do.
Yeah, because also he's a lot saner now. Like, he was already, kind of getting, he's been getting better over time to start, but at this one, the fact that he interacts with Joy and then, smashes the thing and then immediately tries to hold himself back.
It's like, much different from last episode.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would believe that. I also cannot believe that he had a file from 1948 and it was on a flash drive.
That's the MCU.
Like, it's so much wilder. Like, it is more realistic, truthfully, that they would have transferred it over to a file drive at this point, but it feels so unlike a movie or a TV show to have this extremely old footage just be on a flash drive that you plug into a computer instead of the classic, like, come with me down to this room, I'm going to put this on a projection screen and set this up and everything. That's like, I am so blown away by the MCU's constant, like, we're going to bring up extremely old footage or alien shit, and it's just going to go on a flash drive because we don't want to do a like. Again, I don't have anything to say. I don't dislike it, nor do I like it. I just find it interesting that they don't want to do those scenes.
Yeah, like it's a very clear aesthetic choice that is also true across a lot of the media.
Yeah.
It is like a signature.
It is. I every time I see it, I gotta call it out. And yeah, like Bakuto is very much so an iron or an immortal weapon otaku, but he also has a hell of a lot of just weapon. Like he is also that seems to be a thing with the protectors or defenders in this series. Like defenders seems to be, I mean, I know that's the title of the damn thing, but like that seems to be a big like thing for a lot of these characters in terms of Bakuto, Danny, Zhou Yang. I feel like there was another one that I'm forgetting. The guy who we fought in the karaoke guy.
Oh, right.
Those four were all like, you know, they had a whole speech about kind of like being defenders. And like, not so much Bakuto, but Bakuto is kind of like the defender of this place, more or less. Yeah. So I'm sort of throwing him in there as well. And yeah, other than Danny, who is the weapon himself, like he is the weapon, he is the master. We had that talk with the karaoke guy. All the rest of them, all the other three of them are very, very obsessed with weapons. Like, just they have a ton of weapons. And that's a very, you know, interesting parallel we're making between all three of them. Like, all three of the ones that Danny has fought now. Where they all have just a collection of weapons that they like to use against him. And I mean, I like it. It's a very opposite thing that the MCU loves to do of the, you know, it's evil Iron Fist for the final villain. But like, instead of, you know, facing another just evil immortal weapon, we are facing somebody who is the opposite, just using every physical weapon. Yeah, I like that as a contrast.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, like, Danny has his, like, you know, titles and his speech for himself. And it hit me in this episode that right now, like, you know, now that he is more confused about stuff, he can't honestly say that he is Defender of Kunlun, sworn enemy of the Hand.
Yeah.
Like, both of those are now, like, in question.
I mean, he is now back to being sworn enemy of the Hand, I would say.
Sure.
I would say that both these hands hate him now.
But does he hate them? I mean, like, compared to someone like, you know, Davos, who is like, get through this door, fuck the Hand, I hate him. Like, Davos is a sworn enemy of the Hand.
I mean,
right
Davos
now.
didn't even know they were the Hand.
He knew by the time he was, like, pushing Danny through the door. Before that point, I mean, that's a whole thing of itself. The fact that he broke into the Hand training compound, and only halfway through was he like, wait, what do you mean this is the Hand?
Yeah, he was just breaking into a college campus.
Especially since, like, Danny had the shocked reaction of the Hand existing because he was like, wait, no, that's like a fairy tale, and he's the Iron Fist. I'm surprised Davos didn't have a bigger reaction. I mean, maybe next episode, like, when it sets in, he'll be like, okay, so the Hand are real. Also, I stormed a Hand building. What?
That is, I didn't think about that at all, but yeah, Davos seemed to... I mean, to be fair, Davos grew up there, whereas Danny did not.
True.
Davos grew up there his whole life. Danny got there when he was like 15.
Yeah.
Or like 13 or whatever. So, that's a big difference there.
Yeah, you're right. It's like, if we're saying that Danny is brainwashed, Davos is definitely, like, he's had to beat him even more.
Yeah. And I'm sure he fully believes that the Hand are real, because while Danny being the protector, it is like this, you know, all right, they keep telling me I'm going to have to do this thing. Is that really going to happen? Versus, like, if you are in your life just told, like, there are these people out there, I'm not expecting you to do anything about them. It's much more believable that they actually exist.
Yeah.
Rather than, I can see Danny having, you know, had more, like, chill, what's the word I'm looking for? Tales, or, like, you know, the stuff you tell children that is not true, so that way they don't do something.
Yeah.
I cannot think of the word for that right now. Like, it's just a folk tale or whatever.
Yeah.
And Danny's experienced probably a lot of that while with Life in America. So going over there, it also makes sense that he would then go like, is this also just another boogeyman tale?
Right.
Whereas like they just want me to get stronger for whatever reason, but it's not really that reason.
Or it could even be like a ceremonial thing in his head.
Yeah.
Like, if the hand were to show up, of course I'd beat them, but they're not going to show up. Like that also does. Like we've had the whole thing of he has one job, and it's to stand by presumably this big old hole that you go through to get to Kunlun. He didn't do that one thing, and like we have been touching more and more on it. Like even when he was talking with Davos this time, like he's implied there's a specific reason why he left.
I don't think so.
Or, I think we will see, like, I don't think it's going to be a, like, this is the breaking point, but I think that we're going to see, like, some sort of, like, falling out, disillusionment sort of thing.
I truly hope not, because I think they're going for it, and I really hope that it is, that they're just going for, like, the, like, it's a much subtler reason. It's a reason that it's hard to verbalize. Danny just felt like he they're treating him like the Iron Fist, and he wants to be Danny Rand, the Iron Fist, not the Iron Fist, not Danny Rand. He wants to be Danny Rand, the Iron Fist.
Okay.
And I think that is it. That like even his best friend there treats him like just the Iron Fist.
Yeah, I can see that, especially with his big statement this episode of everyone only wants me because of the Iron Fist, or they only want the Iron Fist.
Yeah. And, like, yeah, he's saying that, and we've had that basically that statement before, but with Danny Rand. Like, everybody just wants to use Danny Rand. Nobody wants me because of me. They all just want the name Danny Rand.
Yeah.
And now we're getting that in reverse with everybody just wants the Iron Fist. But yeah, like, and then again, going back to the whole conversation with Gao, bringing that back in this episode, where she's like, just be Danny Rand, and he's like, I don't want to be that. It's not it's not even that easy. Like, it's not that's not what he wanted to be.
Yeah.
And Gao is. Also, I love Gao. Like, Gao, once again, still one of the strongest villains in the MCU.
Yeah.
I love her just unapologetic, like, truly, in her soul, does not understand why Danny is not grateful that she chose not to kill him.
Right.
Like, it is the like, I'm being extremely nice. I'm not killing you. What nicer thing could I do than not kill you?
I really like her line of, like, by just being me, I am showing my respect to you.
Yeah.
Because I fully buy it from her.
Like, all the times she has been disrespectful has been the times she's like, oh no, the truth serum, it's working on me. So, yeah.
Yeah, I really like your read. You're swinging me around on it, especially because we've had, like, in the first half of the series especially, the very hard, like, Danny does not want to be used as Danny Rand, but he's still, like, the Rand name still means something.
Yeah.
And in the same way, I feel like in this back half, we might be going for a, like, he doesn't want to just be the Iron Fist. He doesn't want people to use him as the Iron Fist as a weapon. But I think, like, by the finale, we will also swing around to, the Iron Fist is important, though. Like, it does mean something.
Oh,
it is just,
fully.
Yeah, like, I really like that idea of I am a Danny Rand, the Iron Fist. And both of those things are important, but they're also not all of me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he is both together.
Yeah.
I mean, even in this episode with Joy and Harold doing the whole plan with the bringing them back on board and everything, which it does seem like, I wonder, we haven't seen Ward at all. Wonder what's been going on with him, and I wonder what he's going to do when he hears that he's back on the board. Like, I wonder if we could get a whole, like, I want next episode to be mostly the B plot focused on Ward and not focused on Harold and Joy.
Yeah.
And then the next episode after that have those two plot lines come together. Because again, I want Ward to kind of stay in there and get better.
Yeah.
But he's not going to do that right now. I don't believe in any fucking way that right now where Ward is at the end of the last time we saw him, he wouldn't go, yeah, let me be back on board. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, that 72 hours is extremely important, because this episode took like a day, right?
I think so.
Because they wake up, it's morning, a night happens, and then by the time we see Davos and Danny outside, it's like, midday again.
How the fuck? Yeah, I guess, never mind, because they were just running for hours, I guess.
Yeah.
Damn. But yeah, so it has been about a day or two.
Yeah. So, like, without having to, like, backstep, we could backstep a little bit, or we could just cut to Ward in the place, and he still has 48 hours to go.
Yeah. It is also it is interesting to note that Bakuto was at Harold's place at night, and then Danny goes down to the computer room at night, and then Bakuto just shows up.
Yeah.
But they had to take a car to go from the Chikara dojo to this place, wherever it is.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't do like a name for it or anything, right?
No.
Just want to make sure I didn't miss that. But yeah, so like it could just be some TV stuff, but it could be something more. What is the bird? Was the bird Davos, and he just can't like carry it anyway? Was the bird Bakuto? And but Danny looked at the bird and seemed to recognize the bird or like the bird or whatever.
Yeah, like especially when he was like in the depths of despair, he looks up, he sees the bird.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be something else there.
And there's the homeless guy with the bird tattoo, and what was that about? And I feel like that's going to be a bookend sort of thing. We're not going to get to the last episode.
Yeah, which, as long as it comes up at some point, thematically or literally, that's fine with me, as long as, it happens.
Even if they do bring it back up thematically and be like, yeah, that was like we were hinting at reincarnation or something like that. Fine, whatever, just give me a thing.
Yeah. It's not this weird thing in the background. They focused on it.
Yeah. And the first episode could have been believable that it was the homeless guy, but the second episode is so much more of a disconnected from that. And why did that make Danny go, oh yeah, my Iron Fist?
I do think that I really like Bakuto, going between those places very quickly, and also Gao's interrogation of Danny, where she's looking at the camera. The Bakuto thing I didn't think about, that's very subtle, but the Gao thing is also so supernatural.
It creeped me out and gave immediate goosebumps.
Yeah, I could definitely get it as just, she can hear a creak or something, she knows someone's by the door and then she looks at the camera. But, the intent of it feels so magic.
Yeah.
It feels so this cannot be possible.
I mean, I assume it is she could read Danny's aura sort of thing. Because, she's done basically that with Matt many times, but it's been okay, I guess she heard Matt, but, Matt is the Batman sort of thing where it's Matt can throw a big metal pole at a metal wall and it can go clink, 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 and it's not going to alert anybody because he's stealthy. They're I think now in retrospect, all those scenes get recontextualized as was that a sort of supernatural, her reading his aura sort of thing, and not actually him, making some amount of noise, just a little creak or something.
Yeah.
Realistically, maybe that's what it could be. But also, this series is going very heavy on the chi as just being real life chi.
Yeah.
Everything they do is very much so not supernatural, other than the poison thing.
Right.
The poison thing is that's a pretty supernatural thing.
Yeah.
But everything else is they just want you to believe that the stuff in real life this is basically the same way. Just they can't make an Iron Fist,
Yeah, the Iron Fist is the most heightened thing.
Yeah. And that is a clear supernatural superpower sort of thing. But everybody else can do the same sort of stuff, with this chi stuff. It's just that they can't focus it into an Iron Fist, but they can still pour it out into people when they're hitting people and stuff like that. But it looks like normal martial arts. And Davos, Davos is owning these people, and that's because he is using his chi in the same way that Danny does. He just can't make an Iron Fist.
Yeah, he's just not doing the big glowy.
Yeah. So I do really like that, because when they were doing that, we're gonna recharge your chi, I was expecting it to be some supernatural shit, but it's just just meditation.
Yeah.
Just what you mean by recharging your chi is literally in real life when they say recharge your chi.
Oh, that whole scene is so cool with how Danny, at first is, very much following Davos.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, not...
Bakuto.
Yeah, Bakuto. And then, as he gets more and more into it, they start, syncing up perfectly, and then by the end, Bakuto stops, and Danny finishes it on his own. That
with his eyes closed.
Yeah. It lends so much to the lore, because it is exactly as he said. It is the all these steps. I'm just going to do them in a different way. And once Danny got what he was going for, he was able to finish it properly.
Yeah.
I love it.
And the reason I brought up the aura thing is because we were doing that with Colleen with you can sense Colleen's life force and you can sense the poison is different. And so that was I have to put my hand over her and just be Gal could probably just do that.
Yeah.
So yeah. like the fact that Gao can resist all the poisons and everything, like they're doing it of the like the I've been poisoned so many times that it's never gonna work on me now, or not the poison but the truth serum, which is basically a poison.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I assume more so like she can burn away the poison inside her, like maybe Danny was doing to himself in that one fight,
Right.
But definitely what he did to Colleen. Yeah. You would think if he burned all the poison out of himself, though, that he would have been as exhausted as he was in this episode.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna guess that's not what he did during that fight with the spider lady. But perhaps that's what Gal can do, and Gal is just an endless a pool of chi.
She might just be always charging up.
I mean, like the fact that she has like the whole feng shui thing and everything like that. Like feng shui is probably a thing that recharges your chi as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, like her room in the prison there, like the prison as Danny called it.
Yeah.
In this campus, the way that she is like sitting there looking at the wall and everything, and the whole room being so pristine is probably her keeping it that way, and her sitting in this very specific way where it's like if I look in this way, this is the way that recharges my like.
Yeah.
That is such a like the feng shui can be a room, but it can also be the way you face in a room.
Yeah, like you are part of the room in feng shui.
And so the fact that it is not even like it's at like an angle as well, where she's looking kind of like at a corner, but not like she is in a corner. It's a very specific, creepy position to be in, but also I think that is what it is. That she is like charging up and like when I get out of here, I can do my big blast. Because I mean, and that's what that is.
Yeah.
Like now, like okay, so that is just her. Like I think that is what we're implying that like. You know, Davos can do this chi sort of stuff too, but it just looks like martial arts.
Yeah.
We have never seen anybody, aside from Danny, do something that looks supernatural, where she is doing the big, like, I've been charging up for a long time, and now I can do a big old blast out.
Yeah.
Which, maybe that's why she didn't do it against Danny in, Anjo. Because, like, I don't know how long that was. I mean, like, you would have thought she would be able to recharge by then. Maybe she needs a lot longer to recharge.
Yeah. It may also just be like, she can read Danny so well that she knew at no point did she need to do it.
Yeah.
Like, it would just be better for her to play along and take the 18-hour fly back. Because it's like, well, I'm fine. Like, in the same way, like, I don't think she's really in danger here at this compound.
Yeah.
I think she is just like, well,
fully not.
I don't know how I'm going to get out exactly, so I'm just gonna be ready, and when I get out, I'll get out.
Yeah. I think that is what it was, but I was guessing if there was another aspect of it of like the, you know, I also can't do this because I did my big blast when he did the tournament fight, and I need like weeks to charge it back up or whatever.
Yeah. Because also, like, if she is to be believed, she has been around for hundreds of years. That's a lot of training. Like, like compared to, you know, the Iron Fist, where, you know, Danny is not that old and he can do that, but that's because he's an immortal weapon. Like,
I mean, and we haven't seen Danny be able to like send it out.
Yeah, like she is on a different level. It does make me wonder, like, you know, how strong can you get? Like the big leaders of the Hand, the people who have been around like since the starts. Like, how naturally strong are they at this point?
Yeah. Yeah. And I just it's tangent kind of, but I was actually just remembering Nobu. We talked about how when he came back, he wasn't as burned as he was, you know, because he clearly like burned up almost completely. Because he was in that fire for a while as they were talking and everything.
Oh yeah, the whole time.
Oh, it was 10 minutes. But so yeah, now with Harold being like regenerating, yeah, that seems to be a thing. Like I wonder if the urn is the tank.
I could see that.
Like, just, you know, they do it in a more ritualistic way, and Harold's like, fuck that, I'm just gonna make this a giant tank.
I'm also wondering if, like, if, you know, coming back wrong is just an amount of mental damage. Like, I'm wondering if the reason why Nobu had, like, obvious big visible scarring on him, but his mind seemed to be just fine, was because, like, when they regenerated him, they prioritized making sure that his, you know, his mind came back right. Whereas, Harold isn't being, like, directed by any way whatsoever.
I'm trying to remember if Nobu was, like, in his right mind. I can't remember him doing anything that was out of his right mind.
Yeah, like, I don't remember anything even impulsive, really.
Nobu's whole character is very impulsive,
sure.
to be fair.
Yeah, but, like, compared to Season 1, like, Season 1, his major impulsive thing was, okay, I'm gonna go kill the Daredevil.
I would say it was pretty impulsive for him to be continuing to fight Matt and Electro on the roof when he knows there's somebody sniping at them. Like, that was a very clear, like, the fight could stop right here, but he goes, ah, and just starts charging at them anyway, even though he knows it was a sniper.
Yeah, and to be fair, there is also the big moment where he's with all the ninja, and it could be a big fight, and he does, like, hold them back.
Yeah, so,
that
as well.
Yeah, I guess that might be less of a, like, Harold's mad impulse, and more of a, like, cockiness impulsiveness. More of a, like, I can definitely take them on.
But again, I don't know if that came out of that, because in Season 1, that was his whole thing, too, of, like, everybody keeps trying to fight Matt and dying, and then, Nobu's like, I'll do it. He's never fought me. Oh no, fire.
But yeah, the fact that I can't think of an obvious hint, the fact that no one did the, like, oh, he came back wrong.
Yeah.
Like, that sticks out if nothing else. Like, the lack of that sticks out.
Yeah. So, more so in this episode, we get, whatever his name is, dies.
Yeah.
It's completely unimportant what his name was. But...
the most important guy on the board. Like, when we see the people on the board, he is the main guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, I really hope no one working at Rand turned 65 at any point in the last few years.
Everybody's just taking out his pension fund.
If you try to draw from that pension fund, they're going to have to take money out of your account.
I was wondering if he was, like, at first I was like, he's taking, like, Ward's thing and just putting it on him. But he reacts to it in yes, I was doing that way. So, it was like, no, just everybody's doing this. God,
this fucking pension fund.
It's so like understated, but it's so hilarious.
Danny had better make a note of, hey guys, with some of my billions of dollars, I'm gonna fill up the pension fund real quick. I know it's empty.
Oh my God.
God, I really like Harold's line of, a father's most important job is to provide their children a beautiful lie to live in.
Yeah.
It is the perfect Harold line.
Harold's whole... Joy was really interesting to watch. I really thought she was going to buckle into his control immediately, but her being pretty against him was, like, very... very needed. Like, obviously she still kind of, like, buckles into him, in the end, but... having that be a long, like, this is really fucking creepy, and we need to acknowledge that, and also, I don't, like, all the things that you're saying are really fucked up, kind of.
Yeah.
And, man, I don't think I will ever not bust out laughing at the, like, did you hire someone to kill this person? No, I did not hire someone to kill this person. Like, nobody has ever clarified no, I didn't do that. It's always, you say, no, I didn't do that. Nobody ever repeats back, word for word, exactly the thing they said.
If anyone ever does that to you, you gotta go more broad.
You gotta go, okay, hold on a second. What do you mean by that?
Small nitpick, how did Joy get this meeting with the board?
I don't know.
She was fired, and she doesn't have a visitor pass on her.
Yeah, how'd she get in the building? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I also would have liked it if they, if some of the people on the board acknowledged we think that they killed them, right? We think that we killed that guy, right? Or like that the Wendels, the father, the Meachums, killed that guy, but we still have to go along with this anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's a pretty corporate thing to do. And I feel like they could have sold it more in this. Like, that is a very corporate business of I'm pretty sure my boss just killed that guy, but what am I going to do about it? Guess I'm still going to be a corporate slave. So, like, it was a little bit weird that Joy just suddenly comes in here, is able to hold this whole meeting. Like, the fact that out of nowhere, Joy comes in here and goes, all right, I'm the only one who knows that this guy killed himself last night. None of you people in the actual company know. And now you need us.
Yeah.
But, when we were talking about Danny Rand and the Iron Fist, him wanting to be both, not just the two of them, and them using everything like that, in this, where she's like, just bring me and my brother back on board, and the company knows everything she just said is true, but it's only true if they bring Danny back on, too.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing that's going to really bring their stock back up. So, like, once again, just using the Danny Rand name.
Yeah.
And, like, the constant Mr. Rand. There's something always, like funny and so annoying about somebody doing the, Mr. Rand sort of thing, like the Mr. last name for somebody that they know doesn't want to be, or doesn't want to be talked about, or like, how am I trying to say that?
Like someone who doesn't want to be given that, like, honorific?
Yes, someone who doesn't want to be given that title or whatever, or that amount of, titleness, like feeling like a boss or whatever. And the fact that they are saying that as I hate the fact that I have to say Mr. Rand when they don't. Like, that is the thing that is funny and so infuriating. That sort of thing always will get me.
Man, Danny... I wonder if anyone's going to explain what happened to Danny. It's going to be a big ol' like, hey, by the way, while you were away, you lost the company and also you got it back?
Yeah.
You got your office again? Now, we're not... And now I guess they don't have to explain, how they got him off when he has 51% of the stocks, because by the time he comes back in, it'll be back to normal. It's fine.
Yeah. I really thought it was going to be a whole big thing with Danny, but, like, no. And also, it seems like he's going to be back on the board before he ever had to use his dad's, thing.
Yeah. That's
or
really interesting.
Maybe I guess he used that to get into the lab in the first place, but we didn't see it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how he got in the lab, but...
Because I feel like it's going to be an important moment when we visually see him pull it out and use it.
Yeah.
Like, I think we can backfill that, he used it at that point.
Yeah, maybe.
But, like, it would be so weird to not do that. My theory is we're going to have a moment where, like, when they're giving him access back, the Meachums, like, one of them will probably lock Danny out of somewhere, and then it'll be like a specific, okay, Danny Rand can't get in, but my dad's card can still get in.
There's also still the Gal floor.
Actually, depending on what Gao's thing was with Danny's parents, that could also be of course, Wendell's card can get to this floor.
That's what we predicted at the time.
Yeah. I'm back around on that, like, we still know so little about that, and now we just have more weirdness around the hands. They could do so much with that.
Yeah. It's definitely, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, and this series does a lot of we're going to have the character do something, but we're not going to say, like, even though it's very, very obvious how they did it, or what they did, or whatever, like, more with the heroine, for example. Like, we're not going to show it until way later. But then you do know that they've been doing it the entire time. Like, maybe that's what we're going to do with Danny in this card.
I can see that.
I do love that Harold's version of complete honesty is, when you ask me a question, I will answer that question in complete honesty. It's a very, very dad-like, thing for complete honesty. Only is honest if you're asking me the question first.
Also, that 1-2 punch of, listen, I didn't kill Wilkins, or, like, I did not have Wilkins killed. That said, there's someone we're going to have to destroy.
Yeah.
And he knows for a fact, like, Joey's not going to be upset by this.
Yeah, George's like, okay, I guess we're going to destroy somebody.
Time to get my horse tranquilizers.
I don't think a horse tranquilizer would destroy a horse.
Time to get my bucket full of blackmail porn.
But for a, Chinatown is just signs everywhere, and, like, same thing like Daredevil and Jessica Jones and all that, but still, they're very, obviously they're not going to put something in it if it's like a name brand there, if they're not getting paid by them or sponsored by them or anything. And this episode was the first time in, like, one of the MCU shows where it really felt like, I guess they got sponsored by every moving company because, like, did you notice that all like the FedEx, the UPS, oh, there's one other one too, but I can't remember where it was, but it felt so much to me like why is this episode being sponsored by, like, every moving company in America?
Yeah.
But like they were really going ham on those signs. I don't know why. But yeah, I don't know. Anything else? That was a random comment. The episode just kind of ends, you know?
Yeah, like Danny's got some. Well, Danny can't use the Iron Fists. Why that
also,
is?
We're at a little UPS facility at the end of this episode.
Oh, I didn't notice that at all.
I didn't even notice that at all either.
Huh.
We're also at a UPS facility, so maybe there is something going on.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe they were. That is a weird. What are we doing with that? Is that a thing? It was also the mail truck.
Sure.
That's what I was thinking of. It's not really moving, but like a mail truck, FedEx truck, UPS trucks. Why the name brand trucks?
Mm-hmm. Like they could be doing something thematic with like packages delivery.
Yeah, like with ranch. Like I was saying it as just like a man. It's funny that like I don't really see that much sponsorships in this in these MCU stuff, but that was very apparent. But maybe it is one a sponsorship, but also they are tying it into something.
I could see that. I don't know
the fact
what it
that,
would
like,
be.
the fact that they were ending at a UPS facility, and the last couple shots are FedEx truck, mail truck, UPS trucks are curious. Like maybe it is just supposed to be we're in this part of town.
Maybe, yeah.
But still, I don't know if that really is telling me much.
Yeah, because the one thing we knew about in terms of distribution was the place where Gao was making the heroin.
Yeah. And
that's already been dealt with. So it's not we're going to go back there or something.
I don't know. Curious.
But yeah, I could see it being intentional.
We'll have to find out next episode. Until then, catch you later, guys.